Hey Mike, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this incredible project. It's a privilege to be able to submit a contribution. So here I am sitting on top of my roof in this beautiful city of ours, trying to get some fresh air during this weird, surreal time of quarantine and lockdown. But feeling blessed to live in the most beautiful part of the world. Knowing me as you do, and knowing me as my bandmates do, and a lot of my close friends, you won't be surprised to know that the piece that I've chosen is not a compact piece. It's not an Instagram-friendly 1-minute piece of prose like a lot of our friends have chosen. It's a slightly longer piece, but seeing as everybody's in quarantine right now, what are you going to do for the next few minutes anyway? You might as well listen. It's a piece that I stumbled across last year. It was written by a friend of mine, Gord Laws. If you haven't read any of his stuff, or if you're not familiar with him, go check out Gord Laws, GORDLAWS.co.za. Very talented cat. And I think the reason why this piece speaks to me particularly as a father of young boys, I am reading a lot of children's stories, bedtime children's stories, and this has got a kind of a rhythm to this poem that is makes for a perfect children's story. I know a lot of us have been pushing Gord to get this published as a children's story, and the rumor is that's about to happen, which I'm quite excited for him for. And the other reason it resonated with me when I first read it was because the subject matter and the content is something that's always kind of irked me, and that's the way that kind of people seem to treat people online and kind of in the World Wide Web. And at the moment, everybody's spending a lot more time online, so it's worthy of consideration. Anyway, the poem is called A Poem I Wrote Because People on the Internet Make Me Sad Sometimes. And it goes something like this. There once were some people who were really quite nice. They'd greet one another, sometimes even twice. They'd smile and they'd wave and let others go first. They'd look for the best, even during the worst. If they didn't know someone, they'd give them a chance. If they didn't know something, they'd find out or ask. If something that happened was making them sad, they'd try to discuss it so it wasn't as bad. These people, well, they were like you and like me. Not better or worse, most ordinary. They tried to see good when given the choice, and to build others up with the strength of their voice. But then something happened to the folk who were nice. One of them invented a conversation device. At first they were thrilled. They sang and rejoiced. Now everyone else could hear everyone's voice. People here, people there, people so far away could be reached with whatever they wanted to say. At first it was great, and ideas were shared. At first people listened. At first people cared. They could reach out to friends and say, "Hey, how are you?" and all kinds of other sweet good things to do. But another thing happened that took them by surprise, because people act different when you can't see their eyes. It's a small little thing, hardly noticeable at first, but soon it caused people to bring out their worst. See, no matter what any one person might think about what to wear or to eat or to drink, which music is best or which movies are great, whether something is funny or which people to date, there's always a person, or many in fact, that simply don't see things like this or like that. It's normal for people to not always agree, but lost in devices, it was all they could see. And from the safety they found in their screens, they forgot that it's never okay to be mean. Instead of trying to see all the ways we're the same, they just looked for reasons for anger and blame. They ignored the good people right there in their lives, their friends and their families, their husbands and wives. The people at school who all used to play, they'd ignore them and stare at their screens all day. They'd get so full of anger, it would not go away, because somewhere someone had a mean thing to say. And then they'd get mad and say, "You can't say that." And they'd think of a mean thing and say it right back. And no one could stop them from being so mean, because it all feels so easy when you're holding a screen. In real life, if you look someone in their eyes, you can see how mean things can make them want to cry. You can see in their face that they're just like you are, and not just a target to shout at from far. Because face to face, when you shout and get mad, it doesn't only hurt others, you also feel bad. Mostly, there is no good reason to fight. We just make others wrong so that we can feel right. And the fight in the screen never comes to an end. And it's mostly with people who could all just be friends. It's sad, because all you can see is what's wrong, and none of the wonderful things going on. Like people just looking for others who care, to joke with and play with, and stories to share, to hold hands and hug if that's what they want to do, or talk and tell jokes, or to play the kazoo, to do things together, have fun with their friends, and when there's a conflict, to try and make amends. So if you feel like the whole world's in a mess, maybe it's time to look at the screen less. If you and somebody just can't get along, maybe you're going about it all wrong. Maybe it's better to just walk away and hope that they also stop fighting one day. Because no one is happy when they get themselves caught in devices where anger's the #1 sport. Forgive and forget, learn to walk away, because lots of real people have nice things to say.